Tonight, we gather in the flickering light, the shadows stretching long and thin around us. We delve into the heart of classic campfire lore, tales whispered in the dark for generations. These aren't complex narratives, but simple, chilling stories designed to get under your skin. They are masterclasses in building dread with minimal strokes. We'll revisit three of the most enduring: the hook, the vanishing hitchhiker, and the babysitter and the man upstairs. Prepare yourselves for tales that linger long after the fire dies down. Our first tale is a cornerstone of campfire horror, a story that proves simplicity can be terrifying. It begins on a dark night, a young couple parked in a secluded lover's lane. The radio plays softly, providing the only sound besides their quiet conversation. Suddenly, the music is interrupted by a news bulletin. The announcer's voice is urgent, reporting a dangerous escaped convict. He's described as a man with a hook for a hand, and he's believed to be in the immediate area. The mood in the car shifts instantly. What was romantic becomes tense, fear creeping in. The girl is visibly shaken by the news. She urges her boyfriend to leave, to get them somewhere safe, anywhere but here. He tries to start the car, but it just sputters and dies. A wave of panic washes over them. Then, they hear it, a faint, scraping sound against the car door, just outside the girl's window. It's a slow, deliberate scrape. 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 The sound is metallic, unnatural, and utterly terrifying. The girl is frozen, her eyes wide with horror. She pleads with her boyfriend, begging him to check what's making the noise. He's reluctant, clearly scared himself, but he finally agrees. He tells her to lock the doors and promises to be quick. He steps out into the darkness. As soon as the car door closes, the scraping stops. Silence descends, thick and heavy. The girl waits, her heart pounding in her chest, but her boyfriend doesn't return. Minutes stretch into an eternity. She is alone, trapped in the car, paralyzed by fear and the unknown. Finally, through sheer terror, she manages to turn the key again. This time, the engine catches. She doesn't hesitate, slamming the car into gear and speeding away from the lover's lane, leaving the darkness and the silence behind. She drives frantically until she reaches the safety of her own driveway. Shaking, she gets out of the car, just wanting to get inside. But as she walks around the back of the vehicle, she sees it. Hanging from the passenger side door handle, swinging gently, is a metal hook. The implication is immediate and horrifying. The escaped convict was there. He was the source of the scraping sound. And he got her boyfriend. The power of this story lies in that final, stark image. The hook is a brutal symbol, proof of the unseen threat that was inches away. It confirms the nightmare, leaving you with a visceral chill. Our next story is a classic phantom tale, one that plays on the fear of the unknown passenger. It often begins late at night, on a lonely stretch of road, perhaps during a storm. A driver, alone on their journey, spots a figure by the roadside. It's a young woman, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, looking cold and distressed. Being a kind soul, the driver pulls over to offer her a ride. She accepts gratefully, giving an address some distance away. She is quiet during the drive, speaking only when necessary. The air in the car feels strangely cold, despite the heater being on. The driver tries to make conversation, but she is unresponsive, staring straight ahead. As they approach the address she gave, the driver turns to tell her they are almost there. But the seat beside them is empty. The young woman is gone. She has vanished into thin air, leaving no trace. Confused and unnerved, the driver stops the car. They get out and walk up to the house number the hitchhiker provided. It's an old house, perhaps looking a little neglected. They knock on the door, hoping for an explanation. An older person answers, looking weary. The driver explains what happened, describing the young woman they picked up. The older person listens patiently, a sad look in their eyes. They explain that the description matches their daughter. But their daughter died years ago. She was killed in a car accident on this very stretch of road, on this very night. She was on her way home when it happened. The house the driver brought her to was her family home. The story is a haunting reminder of tragic events. It suggests that sometimes the dead are restless, forever trying to complete their final journey. The image of the empty seat is profoundly unsettling. It leaves you wondering who or what you might pick up on a dark, lonely road. The phantom hitchhiker is a figure of sorrow and lingering presence. Her brief appearance is a chilling connection to a past tragedy. This final story preys on the vulnerability of being alone in a strange place, responsible for others. A teenage girl is babysitting late at night in a large, unfamiliar house. The children are asleep upstairs. She's downstairs, perhaps watching television or doing homework, trying to pass the time. The house is quiet, save for the sounds of the wind outside or the creaks of an old building settling. Then, the phone rings. She answers it, expecting the parents checking in. But the voice on the other end is strange, distorted, and menacing. It asks if she's checking on the children. The caller hangs up before she can respond. Dismissing it as a prank call, she tries to shake off the unease. A few minutes later, the phone rings again. It's the same voice, asking the same question, maybe adding a chilling detail about watching her. Panic begins to set in. She calls the police, explaining the situation. The dispatcher tells her they will try to trace the call, but it will take time. They advise her to stay calm and not hang up if the caller rings again. The phone rings a third time. She answers, her hand trembling. The voice is closer now, more distinct, filled with malice. It repeats the question about the children, perhaps adding that he's coming for them. She manages to stammer out to the dispatcher that the caller is on the line again. The dispatcher's voice is urgent now. They tell her they've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. The dispatcher screams at her to get out of the house immediately, to not check on the children, just run. The girl drops the phone, the realization hitting her with sickening force. The calls weren't from outside. The man is in the house. He's been there the whole time. He's upstairs. The story ends with her frozen in terror. The knowledge that the threat is not only near, but already inside, sharing the same space. This story exploits the fear of invasion and the violation of a safe space. The twist that the calls are coming from within is a gut punch. It leaves you with the terrifying image of the babysitter trapped, the predator already inside the walls. These stories endure because they tap into primal fears. The unknown lurking in the dark, the dead who won't rest, the safety of home being breached. They are simple, effective, and deeply unsettling. They remind us that sometimes the most terrifying things are those we can't see, or those that are closer than we think. So next time you're alone in the dark, remember these tales. And listen closely to the sounds around you.